I'll sit forward like this.
I think you're okay.
Good.
So if you want to sit back, sit back.
Yeah. Let's sit back.
Let's see.
How about that?
See?
Lovely.
Okay. All right, JC here at the Oriental Theater in Denver with Frank Turner. Frank, you've been on the road for a little bit
Yes.
here in the States this year. How's it been going?
Great, actually. I mean, it's an interesting time to be on tour in the United States. I don't know how much we want to talk about that, but
I do actually want to talk about that, but please.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's no different. I've been touring the States for 19 years now, and in a lot of ways, kind of day to day, it's not radically different. I mean, there's a kind of nervousness in the air, I would say. It's also important to say that, like, I try and be self-aware. Like, I've been touring the States for 19 years.
Yeah, right.
I've been to all 50 states. I've played probably over 1,000 shows here. But this is the thing. My experience of this country is filtered through the lens of punk rock and the kind of people who want to come to my shows. It's not a holistic view of a society, do you know what I mean? And America's a large and varied place. But I mean, broadly speaking, the tour's been great. It's been really, really fun.
Well, you started out with the Descendants.
Yeah, I mean, I was in South America before this myself as well. So
Okay.
I've been away for 9 weeks now.
Okay.
But this particular specific run right now, yeah, we're in a co-headline with Descendants. We've got a couple of days apart from them right now. They're in Flagstaff, maybe?
I saw, it's
something like that.
They're doing a lengthy bunch of shows. I know you guys are in and out.
Yeah, but so we've got 3 more shows of them left. But it's been awesome. I mean, they are one of my favorite bands of all time. I grew up with their music. The record "Everything Sucks" that came out in '96 was foundational for me as a music listener. And I've even mentioned it in the song. So it's an honor. And they're a great band and they're lovely people, and I think it's a good mix as well, like in terms of audiences and stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of crossover.
Well, it's got to be cool to tour with one of your bigger influences.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the simple fact that there are posters that exist with my name and their name in equal size fonts,
right,
is no sad thing for me. So yeah, it's been great. It's pretty bucket listy, actually.
The going back to you saying weird times to be touring the States, essentially. That harkens me back because I was listening to a lot of your material leading up to this, and "Let's Make America Great Again" is such a positive song, and frankly, I want to thank you for being one of the more positive artists out there. You always bring, like, for lack of a better term, some sunshine to the song, because most songwriters these days, it's pretty hard to find great positive topics.
I mean, I think, the whole topic of let me take it even further, let me zoom out even further. Okay. The topic of being a protest singer, I don't consider myself a protest singer, I never have. Among other things, I think that's just putting an unnecessary constraint on songwriting. Because songwriting can be about literally anything, do you know what I mean? And I also pretty emphatically, there's a certain type of person who sort of is like, if you're not talking about politics, then you're sort of illegitimate somehow. And
especially when you got an acoustic guitar in your hand.
Right, and I think that's nonsense personally, because I think that artists have one duty and one duty only, which is to make the art that best embodies their own view of the world and their own judgment. And that can be anything you like. We're on tour with Descendants, they write songs about food and about toilets and stuff from time to time, and they also write more serious songs from time to time. But I reserve the right to write about whatever I want to write about. I guess is my point.
Oh, I see that. And you talk about that a lot online.
But I mean, having said that, it's a strange time because in 2016, I wrote a record that was kind of a reaction to what was happening both in the UK and in the US. Mm-hmm. And I always think about Phil Ochs, if you know who I mean by Phil.
I know Ochs. Phil, from the Bob Dylan category.
Yeah, but that's exactly the thing, is that Phil Ochs was a great songwriter that has been largely forgotten by history, and there's many reasons for that, but one of them is that his political songwriting was so temporally specific. You can listen to Dylan songs from the mid-60s, which were addressing civil rights issues or whatever it might be, but Dylan wrote with this kind of timeless timbre to what he did. There was a kind of deliberate vagueness to his imagery that meant that those songs survived. You kind of need a pol sci degree to understand what Phil Ochs is talking about these days. and more's the pity. So in writing about it, I want to be mindful of the fact that I'm not American. I am a visitor here, and a visitor in one of my favorite countries. I mean, I love America. I think there's a lot of deeply tragic stuff happening right now.
Would you write, Let's Make America Great Again? It's funny, when I first saw that song, you wrote that in 2018, right?
Well, I wrote it in 2016, but yeah, it came out.
Yeah, that's when,
a little later, yeah.
And now, I mean, as an Englishman.
Well, I think one of the things about that song, which was funny to me, is that I was in a hurry to use that song title because it seemed to me that everyone would be doing it. It turns out they weren't.
They weren't.
But I mean, the word punk was an insult first and foremost, and it's an act of reclamation to use it as the name for a genre. And there is, that. So my point being, it's an old trope to kind of repurpose your enemy's slogans, as it were. And I think that
it was done so cleverly, but again, so positively. I mean, I think it comes across as I mean, you'd love to see America, the 60s America again.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's difficult to put a finger on exactly. I kind of don't really want to go down the rabbit hole of picking moments in history and be like, things are perfect then, because I think that's actually one of
only
the problems.
60,000 people or so are going to see this.
Okay, but I mean, there are. I think it's way simplistic and slightly adolescent to sort of be like, America's the worst place in the world and responsible for all the world's ills.
Because my son says half the day.
Well, the problem with that is that first of all, it removes agency from everybody who's not American, which is a problematic thing to do, in my opinion. And secondly, it's pretty ignorant of history. I mean, I think that there have been plenty of regimes that have been worse than America in the 20th century. That's not to defend everything America in the 20th century has done. Obviously, there's a lot of bad stuff on the docket, but I mean,
we're not in Hitler range yet.
No, and I mean, like every country in the world has bad stuff on the docket. Do you know what I mean? And there have been beautiful things about America as well historically. And I guess all you can do in any situation with any country, or indeed any person, or any topic, or anything really, in my opinion, is try and encourage the good and discourage the bad. And I think that, as I say, there are, for every moment that people can talk about, Jim Crow or whatever, which is an awful historical shame. Yeah. You can also talk about. I still find the words of Alice Island, "Give me your poor, your needy," all that extremely moving. Yeah. And so it's a mixed bag, like it is with everything. I don't think that's a controversial statement.
Well, let me ask you. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think you'd be the first to say that you're a much more popular artist in the UK as you are in the United States. And, and some bands break big here and some bands don't. And I've always found that, I've been in the business for a long time. Like you talk punk rock, the Clash, they're my band. But
I've got Joe Strummer. There's Joe Strummer. There is.
I'll never forget the first time when they were fronting the Who, and he came out in the mohawk, and I just lost my shit.
Yeah,
it was.
I think I was
4,
possibly even 3, actually. But I've seen videos.
No, it was a dynamite tour, but I digress. But I'm going to forget what I was going to go to. You continue to come over to the United States. I mean,
the first thing is America's a continent rather than a country, and I think that there are parts of America where we do as well, if not in some cases better than we do in the UK.
Okay,
and then there's Arkansas, which
don't like.
Well, no, it's not that I don't like it. It's they seem to not like me. We have played Arkansas so many times.
Really?
Over the years, and it's just never quite clicked. It's like a blind date that's not going very well. At a certain point, you just kind of get up from the table and you be like, "Have a nice life."
Well, where is your biggest fan base here in the U.S.? Boston. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's partly Boston's.
Even though you're not even Irish.
No. Some of my crew are, but not I. But Boston's always been kind of ahead of the curve on English music, but also they tour with the Dropkick Murphys a lot, which is a little bit like being given the kind of priority access pass to Boston. Do you know what I mean? But I love Boston. It's a great city, and I've played arena shows in Boston. It's a cool place to be for us. But yeah, so I love America. It's great.
No, I how I first got introduced to your music is, someone whose musical knowledge exceeds mine, and a lot of people that watch this think I know something about rock and roll. Said, well, this guy's a lot like Springsteen used to be.
That's very kind of you to say.
Well, I love the boss.
I have a Springsteen tattoo on my thigh. I love the boss too. He's great. We actually opened for him in London a couple of years ago,
Really?
which is among other things a rare thing, in that he doesn't generally have
Never.
support. But
Yeah.
it was a Hyde Park sort of festival billing thing. So
Okay.
it was us and the Chicks, which was another incredible band. So that was a huge honour to be part of that. And the word is that he picked us to be on the bill, so that means a lot. And he's talked about my music in interviews, which is pretty huge.
There's not a lot of bands that Springsteen talks about. Gaslight Anthem and
I mean, I'm very on about it. I mean, I think to me, I'm the most important and most obvious comment is that I'm just a fan. I think he's great, but also I think it took me longer than you might imagine to figure out. There's three separate strands to what I do for a living. There's musicianship, there's songwriting, and there's performance, and they're three entirely separate disciplines. And Springsteen's the all-rounder.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He's a great musician, he's a great songwriter, and he's a great performer. And he's kind of the whole package. And it's quite easy to think of lots of people who tick 2 out of 3 boxes. Kurt Cobain, I'm an enormous Nirvana fan. He's an amazing songwriter and an amazing performer. Not the best musician, by his own admission, I would say.
But that used to be the slam on punk, right? Is that they didn't really know how to play their instruments.
Yeah, but then I mean, it's a funny thing because in many ways, and Kurt Cobain's a great example of this, his lack of technical knowledge actually enabled him to think outside the box.
Right.
I think in some ways there's a weird middle ground where if you know a little bit of music theory, it's actually kind of constraining because you have to know all of it in order to get around the edges of it, or none of it. You know what I mean?
Some of the greats, Hendrix didn't have any musical.
Yeah, right.
And the Edge from U2, all great musicians seem to be self-taught. There's very few.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not calling myself a great musician, but I'm self-taught as far as these things go. I had like 2 weeks of guitar lessons once, and I learned the intro to Satch Boogie by Joe Satriani, which I can still half remember.
Really?
That's it. That's the extent of my musical.
I'll tell Joe that I'm seeing those guys in a few weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I can play it badly. And just the intro. Once
the
song kicks in properly, I'm lost.
Not that you probably care, and I'm going to just talk about this for a second, but I'm learning guitar right now.
Mm-hmm.
We had a question that I posted about, if you could play anything, whether you're a great guitar player or not, there's obviously.
Yeah.
So I used to sing Secret Agent Man at weddings for years, and so like my afternoon DJ Jabo is trying to teach me how to play the song, and it's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the world's most technically proficient guitarist. I'm not the most technically proficient guitarist in my band, or indeed my crew. But I write the songs, so there we go.
But there it is, right? And you've written
many songs.
Do you have? Is there? Some people, a lot of artists talk about songs as like their children, and
yeah. I mean, if you're asking me if I have a favorite, I mean, the answer is no, because I mean, among other things, I think that songs can aim for different things, and it's when people say what's your favorite band, I just think it's a dumb question because the music of Bjork and the music of the Sex Pistols are trying to achieve entirely different things, and I just don't really see how one would compare one with the other. Within my own catalogue, it's a similar thing. There are songs that are aiming in different directions and going different places, so to pick one as a favourite seems a little kind of weird to me. Having said that, there's definitely songs of mine that I like less than others.
Maybe we shouldn't have put that out.
Well, not in any kind of like political way or anything. Just as in, I just don't think they're very good. And the thing is, I'm not going to name names on this because every single time in my life that I have named a song of mine that I don't like so much, it turns out to be the person I'm talking to's favorite song.
Right. And that's funny because you can. That's another topic on my radio station all the time. Is there's a litany of bands and songs. Like what Springsteen is most famous for. Well, you can say it's Born to Run, but his biggest hit was Hungry Heart. And almost uniformly, everybody that's a fan of his hates that song. And there's so many bands whose biggest hit is a song that they they feel horrible about.
Yeah. I mean, that's thankfully not the case with me. My more popular songs are all songs that I like. There's one or two that I'm just a bit like, yeah, that was a swing and a miss. But I mean, it's also, there's a funny thing, and this comes into writing set lists and stuff as well. My list of my favorite songs I've written is not the same as my list of most popular songs.
No.
That's definitely true. But then, I mean, to some degree, when I'm playing a show, not 100%, but to a degree, I'm an entertainer, and my job is to lift the weight of the world off my audience for a bit, and if they want to hear this song. It's also, I often think about the Radiohead Creep thing. I mean, I know they have in recent years, but like for a long time they refused to play it. And it was just kind of like, dude, it's the one song that got 90% of the people in this room through the door. And you're playing for 2.5 hours and it's 3 minutes long. Just give and take a little bit, man. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, for me, a set list is about leading and following in equal measure. And what I mean by that, the leading part is where you play stuff that people perhaps weren't expecting, whether it's new stuff or deep cuts or whatever it might be. And then the following is playing the shit that people want to hear. And I think that the best set lists are a mixture of the two, actually.
And then, but you're getting the feedback right. So you as the artist, you're like, wow, that really went over a hell of a lot better than I thought it would.
Well, that's the other thing as well, is I get a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, you should play this song, it'll go down really well. And I'm like, no, it won't. And I would know that better than you would. Because I have a pretty good judge of what songs of mine go down well where in the world and all that kind of thing. Because I've done it every day for however many years. Do you know what I mean? I know that this song is a set closer.
In 19 years, I think you know.
Yeah, this song's a set closer, this song isn't, or whatever it might be. And so yeah, you get a pretty good sort of handle on what the people want.
Well, to sum this all up, I mean, the reputation that you have amongst people like myself, critics and things like that, is you are a fantastic live entertainer. I have not seen you yet. I'm very much looking forward to that tonight. So the pressure is on.
The pressure's okay, damn. We were going to give it 60% tonight, but I guess it'll be 65. No, I'm kidding.
Or I got to come up and take the t-shirt back.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a funny thing in terms of our live show. We've long sort of operated, and I say we as a men, Sleeping Souls, my band. I think that we're pulling a neat trick, and I'm happy to share. I guess the thing is, like, we all, to differing degrees, grew up enjoying and watching bands who play more aggressive music than we do. For me, I grew up with hardcore punk, and like the extreme end of hardcore punk, and that's not the music.
You're talking like Fear.
Heavier than that, like Converge, Dillinger Escape Plan, Sick of It All. Like sometimes people use the word metalcore. I'm not sure how I feel about that word, but anyway, really super aggressive live shows, or at the very least, very energetic live shows. I mean, one of the bands that we as a band all agree on is Fugazi is the greatest band of all time. But like, it's very, very physical live shows, very not confrontational, but just sort of like energetic, aggressive live shows. And then I play
Mosh Pit. I mean,
and then we play folk rock, and it's just kind of funny because a lot of people kind of come and see us play, and they kind of go, "What just happened?" Like often people who like the kind of music I play they'll come up to us and be like, "That's the craziest live show I've ever seen." And I'm just like, it really shouldn't be, because I can literally name you 25 bands who play a crazier live show than we do in 10 seconds, but they play a different type of music.
Yeah.
So our neat little trick is essentially we play like a hardcore band, but we don't necessarily sound like one.
Frank Turner, thank you
what
so
a pleasure.
much.
Thank you very much. I really hope you enjoy the show tonight.
No, I'm super stoked. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, back to you guys at Q100 Michigan. Check out, it's frankturner.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.